how clients have used the software. All this is fictitious and is based around the Cardiff area, but it kind of gives you an idea of the type of analysis you can do within the system. So what you can see in front of you at the moment is the TRACC system. As you can see, it's meant to look like an office application. This is called the ribbon control at the top with nice big icons and makes it nice and friendly and easy to view. What we've also got here is some data loaded, so I've got some public transport data loaded, I've got some bus and national rail data. If I wanted to, I could restyle each of these bus and national rail ones if I wanted to, but I'm leaving it is. And I've got my Meridian 2 road network underneath, and I've got a lovely Bing map to show me where everything is as well. The system itself works with using all these tabs across here. So I'm on the Home tab, it's got kind of basic GIS functions, including a publish view where you can export images. I've got a save as where I can save any layer directly out of the system to things such as shape files or CSV files as well if I wanted to. So we asked our clients how they've used the software previously, and what they basically said is, if you remember the presentation, they're looking at bid analysis to do things such as LSTF, Local Sustainable Transport Fund work. So what we could do here is, if we're looking at an example within Cardiff, what we've got here is a destination and a load up called the station. So here we can see near Cardiff University, there's a station located just here. And what the plan here was try and improve access to the Cathay station. So as part of this, around the River Taff, they want to look at putting 2 new footbridges across here at the moment, and there's funding available to do that, but they want to work out which of these 2 locations would work best. So the first thing in this example is we're only interested in walking accessibility, walking only. So what they did is a walk without doing any changes to the footbridges at all. So what I'm going to do here is do a 30-minute contour. What this is then now showing us is basically which areas can get a walk to Cathay Station within 10 minutes, which is the red areas here. The area in purple is a 20-minute walk, and this area in blue is showing a 30-minute walk in total. So here we can see that the whole area around Cardiff is quite good. We can see where the River Taff goes, we can see there is a slight problem that people aren't able to do that at the moment. So what they then did is they put footbridge 1, which is this lower footbridge located just here. So if we double click this and go to 30 minutes, what we can then do is we can see how access looks just here within 30 minutes. Due to the transparency options given, we can clearly see this additional area here is now able to get to there. I can turn off my original contour to highlight that further more. We've also got a range here where you can cut between them. So if I look at my local one, I can see there's my 10 minutes, there's my 20 minutes, there's my 30 minutes. What we can then do as well is put and have a look at our footbridge option 2 looks. We put this in to compare it to 2 options to each other. Again, each of these can be exported separately as a map or exported directly to a shapefile for use in other GIS software. And here we can see the second footbridge option given just here, showing slightly less over here, but slightly more to the west. It's great. You can kind of see how each of the footbridges is working, and you've got 3 really great visual representations showing that. Now the thing here, what you want to do is to really add value. It's great to produce a report output, and what the report can do is compare the footbridges. So what I've done here is I've done a report already within the system that shows me, using this data, how many people can get to Cathay Station at the moment. So our baseline here of all people, there's various other census variables. We can do 50 up to a time, but the base is 47,000 people can get to Cathay Station within 30 minutes if we do nothing at all at the moment. Footbridge 1, which is the first option I showed you, would allow 53,000 people able to get to Cathay Station. This is an uplift of 6,275 people in total. Again, if we look at just Footbridge 2, we can see how that's gone up to 51,000, so an uplift of 4,200 people. So this is then showing you quite clearly, the graphics wasn't quite so clear, but using the physical numbers of census data beneath it, we can see Footbridge 1 is a much more viable and much better option to be used. So again, here, this is the Footbridge 2 option being shown. And then if I go back here, we can see how Footbridge 1 option will look as and when it is implemented. So it's a great way of looking at access to that. Now what we can also do as well is we can load in different origin sets from origins where a journey starts from. We can use things such as a general grid of points covering an area. What we can also do is use things such as address data sets, or what's sometimes quite popular is just to add in postcode data. So what we can do is if I go to Cardiff, which is where we're located at the moment, I can load in some data showing access. Here we go. To the postcodes. Let's look at CF10. And one of the advantages of TRACC over other softwares, it comes with a fully usable geocoder, which can be loaded straight into the system. This is part of the Ordnance Survey open data. So we're loading in these data sets for origins or destinations. We can use this. We can either use an X and Y along that position, or we can use OS code point and choose a column that's got the postcode in it and choose that as a name. If we then go finish, this will then load in for us, tells us which postcodes don't exist. If I just go cross on here, what we'll then see afterwards is various postcodes being shown. Wait just a moment for it to work out, and then we should find out there's 698 postcodes in total. So here we can see all the postcodes based around CF10, and we can see they're all based around here. What you can then do as well is you can do a calculation which shows access from the postcode if you wanted to get to that location as well. What I'm now however going to do is I'm looking at a different option, which is looking at access to schools. And this example, there was two parts to this. The first part was not just showing access to the schools, but showing what happens when it changes. So the first one was the baseline study. So we loaded up all the schools within Cardiff. There's 20 of them in total. We can then, if we want to, we can style it by adding the name of each of the schools. Here we go. So here we can see Willows High School, Fitzlin High School, and so forth like that. We then ran through and did a calculation showing access to any school. Again, we'll do it within 30 minutes. So the first thing this is now doing is showing us access to any one of our schools within a 30-minute time period. Again, if I just zoom to this layer, this is showing access in 10, 20, and 30 minutes. What I'm going to do is just turn off my labels quickly because it's clunking up the map. So here's showing access in 10, 20, and 30 minutes to any school at all within Cardiff. What we can then do on top of that is say, right, actually, that's great showing me access to all the schools. I'm interested just in Cardiff High School. So I can choose Cardiff High School, go OK, using exactly the same result being shown here. I've now got showing access in 10, 20, and 30 minutes. Now we can see these little islands of purple sitting out, and this is located around basically a train station. There's a train station located here, not sure you can see it very clearly, but there's a railway line, and there's a line that stops right near the school here, which is why we've got these little islands of good accessibility. What we can also do as well is say, right, okay, that's showing us access to one of the schools. Which area do I live in is the closest school for me to get to? Now, obviously, we're doing schools. This could be anything at all. It could be GP surgeries, anything like that. But what this will now do is kind of which of our origin points in, which was a grid of points in this example, and it then colors it in depending on which is the closest school for it to get to. So what we can here is see all of our schools. Each one's been given a key in a different color, and we can see where you live, which school, which destination is the closest one for you to reach. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn them all off and then investigate just Cathays High School. So here's Cathays High School, and we can see where that area is. We can see we've got a little area here and a small little area to the north. It can also get to that school a lot quicker. I'm going to look at Cardiff High School, which we looked at a moment ago. And the great thing about Cardiff High School being located near to a rail station, we get all these islands along the national rail route that comes out of that system, or that comes out of that school. So in the areas that might live further away to the north, can get to Cardiff High School a lot quicker than ones that are as the crow flies closer, which is absolutely fantastic. So what else we can do as well within the system is we can say, right, this is our current access at the moment. Well, let's say that one of our operators is no longer going to work. So we can do a search for all of our operators within Cardiff. We can search it by operator name, operator code. I can go down to Stagecoach South Wales here, and I can suspend them. So these will tick to show they're suspended at the moment. That means when we do a calculation, it won't be used as part of that calculation. Though we can delve down into much more detail than that. I can go into Service X, see the two different routes here. I can suspend an individual route by double-clicking on it. If I double click on it, it brings up the route information. So here we can see the exact route where it goes, or the name of the stops. We can add stops, drag and drop the order of these stops to rearrange them if we want to as well. And again, we can suspend them up to the top here, or what we can do, if I don't save that, or we can go into the timetable, which shows us the full timetable of that service. This is a very, very rare service that runs Monday to Friday. Departs from 10 to service, first one 6:37 in the morning, the next one 7:07, and it runs Monday to Friday, whilst 7:07 also runs on a Saturday as well. We can copy and paste out of this like an Excel document as well, if you want to copy that into a report. You've got full control over the public transport data just here. And also, as part of that public transport data as well, as I touched upon, you can save network to GTFS, or we can say a specific number of services we can save to Transit Exchange or a CIF file. So this example, we stopped the Stagecoach South Wales services and we rerun through the calculation. Just to give you a quick idea of how that looks, so what we did is we used card grid points that covers the whole area just here, every 250 metres. We then did the calculation here, various options, so public transport and the road networks are most popular. We've also got walk only, cycle only and drive time. I'm going to show public transport and road network. We then go next, we specify which modes you want to do, so Cardiff only has bus and national rail. We choose which day of the week and which time period you want to do the calculation. We can also, doing bus only, say, right, only use buses that have these 2 buses now are running there if we wanted to. We can then go next, we get a few options here to quickly gloss over these. The important ones here are things such as interchange penalties. So do you want them to interchange for a bus to another service or bus to a national rail? If we do, we can penalise that by putting a penalty in. And we can also limit the amount of distance of travel that I've had to get to their first stop or their last stop or to their destination. The last thing you want is people walking for 4, 5, 6 kilometres in total to do a journey, because it's not very realistic of how that might potentially happen, so we can put a limitation in here. We can go next. We can then reverse the journey to not only go outbound getting access to the school, we can do a return home journey at the end of the day. We can save the full OTR file showing us the exact journey, which buses were used. We can directly export the results to CSV file to speed up the calculation, or we can say save for future run, which allows us to batch run it in the future. We then go next. We get a quick summary of all the settings that have been used. We can then go finish. It will then run through, take 3 or 4 minutes for an area this size. But what I've done in Blue Peter fashion is I prepared one earlier on. Here, and we'll then do a contour showing 30-minute access. Load this back in. So here's our 30-minute access without the Stagecoach South Wales services being run. And if I let's load up the original ones, we can then see where the difference has been given. So here we can see across to the west of the city, around here we can see people are no longer able to access the school in 30 minutes. So looking at that, you might be a bit concerned, saying, well, actually, that's quite a bit of an area that is no longer able to get there. So like with the LSTF work, we can use things such as census data and census reports to further highlight that. So what we've done here is we've done a comparison of the schools to show what happens before and after. So here, using school-age pupils, we can see, looking at 11-year-olds, so currently there's 4,095 11-year-olds in the Cardiff area. Currently, 3,842, or 94%, are within a 30-minute access to that. And after Stagecoach South Wales is removed of their 7 services, that drops down to 92%. And with a target of 30%, you say, well, actually, it's bad, but we could put a dial-a-ride service, a minibus service to pick these people up, and we're still above our 90% target. Also, at the bottom, we've got some report options here that shows us all the settings that we use to do that calculation. Now, this is doing the calculation, looking at access to schools using gridded points. What we can also do is do it using postcodes. So here, I've got some postcodes showing access. And this is slightly different. So before, the contour, which joined the dots up effectively. This time, it's now going to show every single of my origin points and colour it differently, depending on their journey time. So here's all of our postcodes in the CF area. I'll zoom in. You can now see for each of our postcodes how long each one takes to get to the destination. And again, you can export this as a lovely, lovely report. And the great thing about the report is it shows you not just access to the closest one, we can export access to every single one of the schools in total. So here we've got a postcode to schools. It might take a second to load up. As you can see, the file size is 45 megabytes big. But what it does, it shows us access to every single school in total. So it will be a lot of rows of data basically showing the travel time. I'll just bring this across. So at the top, we get everything we set as our settings, and then we get, for Origin ID 1, which is postcode CF10 1AA, we can then see the name of all the schools here, the local authority which it sits in, which is Cardiff, we see the coordinate of the destination, coordinate of the origin, and then for each says we can see the journey time, how long it took to do that journey. We've also got an option here saying, is it direct walk? So all these are false at the moment, but basically this means we get to any of these that say true. It basically means that the quickest journey for them to do was not to use public transport at all. So that journey was done using walking only. If I keep scrolling down, I'll come across one eventually. And this is great because you can say this person, it only took them 4 or 5 minutes to do that journey, but they didn't use any public transport at all to do that. So it kind of gives that kind of visibility of the result as and when required. I'll go a bit further down. Hopefully I'll find one. Always the way that you can't. But we can see it also has false here at the moment. So you can also imagine that we've got a lot of postcodes in this location. You get a lot of rows of data. It's exported to a CSV file, so it's the limitless file size, which is nice. And as you can see, for example, here we've got in total on this sheet 458,000 rows of data in total. So it gives you lots and lots of lovely data that's really, really easy to import into things such as SQL or Access if you want to further analyze that data set. What we can also do as well is your full transparency in the results that comes back in, so we can backload it in a previous data set such as an OD path. OD path showing us the exact journey and how it was brought about. So I'm just going to load this in using the coordinates brought from that file. I'm then going to style it to make it more obvious for us to see and add a label which shows the cumulative time. If I then zoom to layer, so here we can see where the journey originated from and where it went to. What we can then do is select all of our area here. We've got a data view which allows us to have a preview of the CSV file just here. So at the top here we can see highlighting in red where the origin point was located. We can then see, it zooms in a bit far here, we can see where it walked to get to the closest road. We can see each link of the road it walked through to get to Revere Court, which is located just here. Got here at 7:30 in the morning, got on bus service number 60. We can see it stayed in the bus service until it got off at Key Street, a cumulative time of 16, up to 60 minutes on the bus and 17 minutes in total here. And they can see where it walked through each road link to get to the destination. So this is absolutely great for showing you exactly how the result was done, what journeys were used. You can, if you wanted to highlight which part of this was done by bus, you can hold down shift, and then all the areas in red shows you the bus part of that journey for you. The next thing I want to do is show you a different calculator within the application. This is known as our local accessibility, and it's very, very popular to show access where areas within Cardiff are within 400 metres of a bus stop, and this is used for planning purposes. So here I can use local accessibility to say, right, show me all areas that are on a Monday morning between 7 and 9 have at least 12 buses an hour calling at it, as well as having 12 an hour to use the road network to show me areas within, in this example, 800 metres. I'm then going to go finish. What it will then do is it will query all of my public transport stops and find all the stops that meet the criteria of 12 per hour between 7 and 8 and 12 per hour between 8 and 9 in the morning. It then creates a pseudo destination set, we call it, and all it then do is it will calculate the walk time it takes to get there. So if I go to my destination tab, I can see there's 77 stops in total. So these are all my stops, 12 buses an hour, calling at them on a Monday morning between 7 and 8 and between 8 and 9. And then using my result file here, I can produce a contour in 2 bands showing distances of 400 metres and 800 metres away. So all the areas in red now can be developed on straight away without any kind of subsidy given from the developer to provide some sort of bus operator route going from there. And all the areas in blue take slightly longer than that. And then we can delve down further into this using the stop frequency calculator. Again, looking at all access to stops, and we can automatically map them depending on what their frequency is like. So here I can do, say for example, 4 bands. The first one's up to 4 buses an hour. I can do 12 buses an hour. I look at 24, and then I can look up to 42, which is the maximum. I can then go OK, and now it's just doing is styling each of my bus stops or rail stations in depending on their frequency. I can then turn them all off and say, right, these are my really, really high frequency services just here. This is where I've got between 24 and 42 buses now going, calling these areas. You can tell there'll be a lot of bus congestion around the stations of Cardiff. These are between 12 and 24. These are between 4 and 12. And we see the majority here between 0 and 4. And again, using our selection tool, I can highlight some of these different stops. Using the data view, I can then see, for example, this one here has 7 hour. And again, I can double click on it to zoom in to find out more information. Or if I wanted to, I could save my selection if I needed to, as again as a shapefile or a CSV file. So again, really, really useful information about frequency of services if required. The final thing to show you as well, which I kind of glossed over, is looking at access to various roads. So I can right click on a road here. You can then see it's been selected at the bottom, and on each road it is selected, you get a preview here showing where the new road link is, and here showing bi-directional speeds, the road names, and so forth like that. And if I wanted to put a new road link in, it's very, very, very simple. I can activate my drawing tool. I can draw where I want my road to be, where I want it to connect. I can then save my selection, and using any one of these defaults from the Department for Transport, so I choose a road, it will auto-populate the speed fields depending on the auto given defaults from the Department for Transport. So this is a very, very quick overview of the TRACC system. I hope you found it useful. If you have any sort of questions at all, or like to know any more information, please feel free to visit our website, www.basemap.co.uk, or visit the Visography TRACC site at visography.com. Thank you very much for your time.